Last night I played in Denver, Colorado, then slept for only about 2 hours. Now I'm headed to Ohio, but I've got to take a 5:45 a.m. flight to Detroit as part of a 3-city poker trip I'm on to play at as many random places as I can. Well, I've got some fun things planned along the way. As soon as I land in Michigan, I rent a car to head to Toledo, where I'll be grinding in a few hours. I've never been to Ohio before. It's a lot prettier than I anticipated. Once I get to the hotel around noon, I actually downgrade my room to 2 queens so that I can check in early and get every bit of rest that I can before playing poker later. Part of the reason that I'm coming to Toledo is to hang out with a band called Citizen. They allow me to come to their studio while they rehearse for their upcoming performance at Riot Fest with a ton of legendary bands, including Weezer, Green Day, and Blink-182. I've been a fan of Citizen for about 10 years. It turns out the lead guitarist Nick likes poker and watches the YouTube channel. He came to a meetup game that we did in Detroit a long time ago. Since then, we've become friends. I saw them play a show in Austin earlier this year. I got everyone's autograph except Nick's brother Eric, so I make sure to bring my copy of their album to finally get it signed by the entire band. It's such a cool experience to kind of get a private show and be around live music. Brings me back to my days of playing in bands myself. Here's a picture of me in my first band in 8th grade. Then this is me playing guitar on the left during a high school show. And here's a very emo picture of me with my friends playing as well. Please, no laughing. Being a new dad while focusing on poker and making videos, I don't have nearly as much time to play guitar anymore, but it's awesome to be in the room with these guys. They wrap up rehearsal while I take one last look at this wall of guitars. The lead singer, Matt, sees me admiring the instruments, and even though they've already packed up for the day, he turns to me and asks if I want to jam. This may be surprising to some of you, but I actually have terrible stage fright, particularly when it comes to playing music, and I don't want to make a fool of myself around professional musicians. Plus, I hate the idea of the band having to unpack and set up again. But I know I'd regret it if I turned down the offer, so I go for it.
It sounded good. Sorry, are you ready?
Yeah.
Band practice over, Nick and I head in to play at Hollywood Casino. We gave the poker room a heads up that we were coming out and got everything in place for me to film. Today we're playing 2-5 no limit. I buy in for $1,000 to start. That's the max in the beginning, but then a 75% match the stack after that. We begin play at 5:25 p.m. About 45 minutes in, we're dealt ace-queen offsuit in middle position with the straddle on. I raise to 30. Hopefully, the giant cards don't hurt your eyes. It definitely takes some getting used to. The under the gun straddler calls, we're heads up in position. The flop comes ace-7 deuce with 2 spades and a club. We've got top pair with a good kicker and likely the best hand. Under the gun checks, we're either going to be way ahead or way behind. I check back mostly for deception, but I'll rarely have 2 pair or better when there's only 1 high card out, and I raise from middle position so we kind of protect from being blasted off our hand when we pot control as well. The turn is the 10 of clubs, putting a second flush draw out there. Under the gun is going to take a stab at it for 25, having no reason to believe that we're as strong as we are. I'm fairly certain that we're in the lead. I may even raise on the river if it's a blank and the opponent bets again. I call for now though, in order to wait and get a better read on the situation once all the cards have run out and we see how our opponent approaches the next street. The river is the 6 of diamonds, the flush draws both miss, the only thing that gets there is 9-8, which the opponent won't often have. Under the gun's gonna rep at least top pair as he bets 40. This is something that happens in lower stakes games pretty frequently. Opponents will somewhat telegraph their hand strength with their bet sizes. When the opponent bets around 1/3 pot, I don't perceive him to have a monster. The $40 wager almost seems like a blocker bet with something that might be okay but probably isn't all that great. I'm comfortable going for additional value. I raised to 120 to potentially get called by a worse one pair combo who won't believe that we're very strong after we checked back the flop. Under the gun folds right away. Our read is correct, but we don't make any extra money. Still, we get the win. This is a friendly game, so I flip over our cards to let the opponent know that he made the correct laydown. I doubt he had much anyway, maybe just a pair of 10s. Next we're dealt Ace Queen's little brother, Ace Jack. The straddle's on. I raised to 40 from under the gun +2. The hijack calls. He doesn't get involved too often. The under the gun straddler calls. He gets involved a lot. We're going 3 ways to the flop. It comes Ace 8-3 rainbow. It's a similar situation as last hand, except we have one more opponent and he's got position on us. Under the gun checks. We're not supposed to bet very frequently when we're not acting last, even though we're the pre-flop aggressor. I check. What the hijack does will be very telling. He checks back. Once again, our top pair with a good kicker should be best. The turn is the 4 of clubs, putting a flush draw out there. Under the gun checks. It's time for us to start betting for value and protection. I assemble chips and wager 55. The hijack is taking his time putting our story together. Our check on the flop might have him confused. He's not going to let me push him around. He calls to put up a fight. I'm okay with it. Under the gun folds. It's down to heads up. The river is the 6 of spades, which completes a straight for 7-5, but that's not a likely combo that he'd have. I also don't think he'll have 2 pair or better at a high frequency with his line. If he had 2 pair or better on the turn, he probably would have raised then, so as long as he didn't river 2 pair, we should have the best hand since he would have folded pocket 6s on the previous street. I bet 130 for value. The opponent is contemplating his options. He looks as if he's considering looking us up light. I'm hoping for a call. If he had complete air, he'd have probably folded by now. Eventually, the hijack does fold. We get another small win. We're not here to get small wins though. We're here to get the Mondo ones. The very next hand we're dealt pocket 7s under the gun +1. There's no straddle on. I raised to 15. Nick is on my direct left. He's not just a guitarist. I can tell that he's been putting in the hours improving his poker game. He 3-bets to 45. I thought we were friends, but friends would not sit on your direct left, then choose violence like he has. The big blind cold calls to 3-bet. His name is Josh. I call him Josh from Cleveland for short. They're really coming after me in Toledo. I call for 30 more to set mine. We're going 3 ways to the flop. The dealer puts out Queen 9-6 rainbow. It's not that high up on the list of flops that I was rooting for. The big blind checks. We don't have much except 3rd pair and a backdoor straight draw. We're going to need an 8 at some point if we want to make a straight, and that'll complete Jack 10 for a higher straight. Nick checks back, which is potentially good for us. Maybe he only has something like Ace King. The turn is the 8 of clubs, so we pick up the open ender, but as I alluded to earlier, we could be dead. The big blind checks. When he checks for a second time, I doubt he has much. I bet 75 in an attempt to win on this street. If not, maybe we'll have some outs. Nick folds. He's who I was most worried about, but perhaps the big blind's been playing possum. He calls. We're heads up in position. The river is the 10 of spades, giving us the low end of the straight. Any jack makes a higher straight though. It's very possible that the opponent called our turn bet with a flush draw containing a jack. Josh from Cleveland checks. My general feeling is that we've got the best hand, but what worse combos will our opponent have that can call a bet? If we bet large, we'll likely only get called by a higher straight. I dial it back with a bet of 90 to entice a light call by something like 2 pair. If the opponent has a jack, I'd expect him to flat unless he has king jack, which is possible. If he happens to have the nuts, he'll raise and we can fold. The opponent is in the tank for a long time. I can tell that he's in agony as he ponders whether or not he should call. At this point, I'm more and more confident that this pot is going to be coming to us, particularly when the opponent tries to strike a deal.
When I show you one, if you show me one, can we do that?
It's tough to show one of our cards and not reveal that we made it straight, so I'm not very interested in making this deal. Whenever anyone starts talking to me mid-hand, my default is to do an impression of my 14-year-old stepdaughter and pretend like I didn't hear what was said, even though I'm clearly within earshot and absolutely 100% did hear. Nearly a minute goes by, then the opponent makes the call. We show that we have the third best possible hand. Josh has a hand that I didn't expect him to show up with. He has a set of sixes. He flopped the devil's hand, but the power of Christ compels runner straight, and we manage to get paid at the end. Josh has a great attitude, and his personality and demeanor is what makes him the exact type of person that I enjoy being at the table with. He came to a previous meetup game, and I beat him in a big pot in that vlog. I know that he wants to get revenge. He's not able to do it this hand, but he got some Bradley dollars in the smaller pot prior to this one.
We'll let the vlog know that you did beat me in another hand earlier. You did.
Delete the one.
I'll take that one. Yeah, I'll take that.
We were down a little from the start, but now we're up 200, and maybe we're about to get hot. We're dealt pocket kings under the gun +1. There's no straddle on. It's a little unfortunate when we've got the second best hand ever invented. We're gonna have a tougher time building up a pot, but I kick things off with a raise to 15. The hijack is a couple doors down from us. He calls. The cutoff has been playing mostly solid. He's tired of seeing pots go our way though. He chooses the wrong time to get frisky as he 3-bets a 75. The small blind is supposed to play a cold 4-bet or fold strategy, and he's basically only supposed to do that with premiums. The small blind goes rogue and cold calls the 3-bet. The big blind says, hey, I'll have some of what he's having, and also cold calls the 3-bet. Holy Toledo, what the hell is going on? Usually I only see action like this on Gold, where the games are phenomenal, and you get extra perks if you join using my name, Brad. Currently, there are satellites running regularly on Gold for 10K seats to the WPT World Championship at Wynn in Las Vegas this December. PLO's coming this month, and if you're Canadian, you can play on there starting this month as well. But for now, it's just some of the least skilled players in 44 states battling it out. More information in the description box below, but you don't want to miss out on how soft the games are or getting yourself some Bradley dollars. Back to this hand, I 4-bet large to 325. If someone 5-bets, we're getting it in. The hijack was cool calling for 15, but now that it's 310 more, he folds. The cutoff is the opponent that I'm most concerned about since he's the 3-better. He doesn't look to be all that excited that his re-raise was called in 2 spots and was followed by a 4-bet though. The cutoff takes a moment to give a brief memorial service to his cards in order to let him know that they will be missed. Then he folds. The small blind appears to have a tough decision. Kings might be the bottom of my range when I 4-bet with this type of action, so if I were him, I'd probably fold everything that he cold called the 3-bet with. The opponent has 795 total. He's not going to bend the knee. He rips it for nearly 800, knowing I'm likely not 4-bet folding for only 470 more. The big blind has an easy decision. Basically, if he doesn't have aces or kings, which he definitely doesn't, he needs to get out of there. The big blind finally finds his fold button and clicks it. We get a count of the small blind stack, mostly just for vlog purposes, but back when Bills used to play, I once made a call that was for way more money than I thought, and I lost 700 more than I would have if I had gotten a proper count beforehand, so it's generally a good idea to do this when you're unsure. I call while the dealer is still breaking down the small blind stack. We decide to cut to the chase and run the board first, then sort out the stack sizes later. We show that we have the Cowboys. The opponent likely has queens, jacks, or ace king. He's not thrilled to see our high pair.
Oh, you're killing me.
We've got the opponent in rough shape. I'm glad that we're not up against ace king. Instead, the opponent has one less out and a worse chance of making it straight. We don't need help, we just need to hold. The flop comes 7-5 deuce rainbow. Dealer, put out a couple more low cards please. The turn is the ace of diamonds because we magnetized it. No harm done this time though, we've still got the lead. The river is the king of spades. We drilled the unnecessary set on the river for the third nuts to really drive the message home to the small blind. I can't believe you went all in with only third pair, that's crazy. We get involved in a very fortunate situation to stack the small blind. I feel bad for our opponent, not because we won the pot, but mostly because he's a Steelers fan, and I'm not sure Aaron Rodgers is going to get the job done for him this year. We were looking for a sizable victory. It's finally come. Now we're up over 1,000, and we've got some big stack energy. A little later, Josh from Cleveland offers to buy us a local beer. He says it's a unique one. I'm not much of a dark beer guy, but I like supporting local breweries for one beer. Not going to be ordering a second one of these though.
What is that?
That's the worst beer I've ever had.
The beer summons pocket kings one more time for us. The player under the gun raises a 20. Looks like we're going to be playing another pot with multiple raises pre-flop. I 3-bet to 60 from the hijack. We're not taking this one down without resistance. Under the gun calls for 40 more. We're heads up in position. The flop comes 9-7 deuce with 2 spades. We've got an overpair and backdoor flush draw. Under the gun checks. This isn't necessarily a scenario in which we want to pile in money. We're either going to be totally destroyed or we'll have a commanding lead. I check back for deception. The turn is the 3 of spades. We pick up the king high flush draw to go along with our overpair. Under the gun checks again. I'm considering betting 70, but instead I just blinked really hard and the opponent folds. He had complete air. Okay, full disclosure, I announced a bet of 70, but he did fold the first millisecond that he had the chance. It'd be fantastic if this never-ending string of kings continues. Due to budget cuts, we're only dealt half as many kings this hand as we pick up king 8 suited on the button. A player in middle position limps in. Our hand plays well on the button against a limp. I raised to 20 in order to isolate the opponent. The limper calls for 15 more. He's a newer addition to the table, but he's already shown that he's on the wilder side. We're heads up. The flop comes king 9-9 with 2 diamonds. That's right, we find the second king after all. The opponent checks. You've seen me check back top pair and have it work out pretty well up to this point. I employ the same strategy. I check for deception and pot control in case we happen to be up against trips. The turn is the 5 of diamonds, putting a second flush draw out there. Our opponent is going to apply some heat. He bets 30. The price isn't negotiable, but that's okay. I'm good matching it. I call. It's not clear whether we're ahead or not, but as long as the bet sizes are reasonable, we'll hang in there. The river is the 6 of spades. The flush draws miss. 8-7 makes a straight. That's about the only new hand that beats us. The middle position player keeps firing. He bets 60. When we check back flop, we can't fold the 2 bets, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're up against trips or a better king. I call anyway. I'll give you one guess as to what the opponent has. If you guess trip 9s, you are completely off base. The opponent has 5-3 offsuit. Pretty standard hand from start to finish. For Toledo, Ohio, our check back on the flop induces 2 bets from the opponent when he was drawing slim, whereas he would have folded to a bet if we made one, and we would have missed out on $90 extra. There's a promotion going on for the football game, and my seat gets selected to win $100. If I were the casino, I'd randomly select my seat as well for it to be included in the video. Well done by their marketing department. I won a high hand last night in Denver for $702. Their marketing department is also sharp.
Yeah, right.
Nice, dude.
Redraw.
No bribe necessary when they're playing 5-3 offsuit against me. In this one, we're dealt pocket 6s in the cutoff. The opponent who limped 5-3 offsuit earlier limps in again, this time from under the gun +1. He's the type of player I'd like to isolate. I raise to 20. The button wants to get in on the action. He calls. Under the gun +1 didn't fold an offsuit 5 high to our other raise. I can't imagine he'd fold anything to a raise in this instance either. He calls. 3 of us are seeing the flop. It comes 8-5 deuce rainbow. It's scary because it's going to drill under the gun +1's range a lot of the time because it's 3 unconnected low cards with one of them being a 5, and that just smashes him. He checks. Our second pair is kind of in limbo. It might be the best, but we're almost always going to get downgraded on the turn and river, so if we want to win, we need to take a stab right now. I bet 25 to deny equity from combos containing 2 overs, like king queen or jack 10. The button folds. Under the gun +1 has something he wants to play. He calls. It's down to heads up. The turn is the 7 of hearts, giving us an open-ender. Under the gun +1 checks. There's a decent chance that the opponent has top pair, second pair, or a straight. He's not a folder. I'm not going to try and turn our hand into a bluff. I check back to see if we can improve on the river. The dealer puts out another 7. I actually like this card because it makes it less likely that the opponent turned a 7. Under the gun +1 is going to rep at least top pair. He bets 50. I have no idea what type of hand could have called our flop bet that doesn't have us beat. In the back of my mind is the replay of our opponent making bottom pair in the other hand that we played together and him blasting away. It's just too hard to fold our pocket pair against someone with crazy fundamentals. I call. I don't think that we're going to win very often, but we win this time. Our pair of 6s is the best hand. We're up against 3 deuce offsuit. Somehow the opponent outdoes himself, limp calling an even worse hand than 5-3 offsuit. There really aren't a lot of candidates for combos to accomplish that. It's pretty impressive. If he were a rap song, he'd be called Big Limpin'. I get switched to one of the main tables at 2-5 where we're dealt pocket deuces in the small blind. Under the gun +1 raises to 20. The hijack calls. Our hand is playable. I call. We're going 3 ways to the flop, out of position. The dealer puts out ace 4 deuce with 2 clubs. We drill bottom set. I check to the pre-flop aggressor. It's likely that someone's holding an ace and we might have an opportunity to win a giant pot. Under the gun +1 bets 20. The hijack is next to act. He could have a piece of some sort, perhaps top pair, a flush draw, or a pair with a straight draw. He calls. I've been flatting with sets quite a bit lately, but this is too dangerous of a situation to do that. There are a lot of bad turns and rivers that can come out, and especially since we're out of position, I prefer to make a move right now. I put in a check raise to 100. Someone might get stubborn with top pair and call us all the way down if it's relatively a clean run out. After some deliberation, under the gun +1 doesn't want the smoke. He folds. The hijack isn't in the mood to keep us honest. He folds without much thought. I doubt either opponent folded a flush draw. They probably had little to no shot at beating us. If I knew what they were holding, I probably would have just flatted the 20 to keep them in and then make a move on a later street. It's double board bomb pot time. We've got 8-7 deuce with 3 spades. We're under the gun. 8 of us put in $15 each and we go straight to 2 flops. The first flop comes king 6-4 with 2 hearts. We've at least got a gutter, but our chance of winning there is slim. The second flop is 10-8 deuce with 2 diamonds. We've got bottom set. And PLO bomb pots, bottom set isn't all that great, particularly when there are a lot of draws present. We at least have removal to middle set, but it makes it less likely that we'll hit a full house. The small blind and big blind check. Our hand isn't anything too special, but I like to at least see the turns. Rather than check and have to face a much larger bet from another opponent, I take the initiative betting 40, basically naming my price. If we get raised, I'll just fold to cut the losses and avoid losing a massive pot. The button calls, the big blind also calls. We've thinned the field, it's down to 3 of us. The top turn is the 7 of clubs, giving us second pair to go along with our gutter. The bottom turn is the ace of hearts, which doesn't change a ton except there are now 2 flush draws on that board. The big blind checks. When we don't get raised on the flop, it's likely because neither opponent has anything all that great on both boards to want to put in additional chips. They're scared of something. The top turn improved our hand, not just because we picked up a pair, but we also now have removal to the nuts, while we're probably best on the second board. Otherwise, one of the opponents might have raised with a set of 10s or 8s. I don't want to give the opponents a chance at seeing a free card if they're on draws. Instead, I apply max pressure with a pot size bet of 240. We're hoping to get folds, or perhaps someone will call us with nothing on the top board and only something like top pair and a diamond draw on the bottom board so that we can scoop. The button appears to have a tough decision. 4 hole cards and 2 boards is a lot to take in, so the button is taking his time to make sure that he's correctly processing the situation. Ultimately, he folds, which is a positive outcome for us when we don't have much at all on one board. We only need to get through one last opponent before the entire pot comes our way. Our wish doesn't come to fruition. The big blind calls. We really don't want any of the prominent draws to complete on the bottom board. We could use some help on the top board as well. The first river is the 4 of spades. We don't end up with much there. The second river is the king of clubs, completing the backdoor Broadway draw. The big blind checks. This pot has grown large enough, and we have at least some showdown value on both boards to maybe win it all if the opponent just has missed heart draws. I don't want to run into a hand like king, queen, jack, 10 and take myself to value town. I pump the brakes and check back, expecting to, at best, only win half the pot. The big blind is even less optimistic that any chips will be coming his way.
Nothing.
Nothing, that's good.
Oh, I got 6.
Alright, I scoop.
Our pair of 7s is enough to win it on the top board, where the opponent really didn't have anything good. He made some ambitious calls on the flop, and especially the turn with very little on both boards except open-enders, but there were flush draws present everywhere, so straight draws go way down in value when that's the case. It results in us getting a sizable win. We drag in the entire pot. Everything's going pretty well for us. We celebrate by having some Washington apples like the good old days. Getting these was Josh's idea in the 9 seat, who's clearly been a long-time viewer. I haven't had one of these in years. Between getting to jam with Citizen and poker being successful so far with multiple Joshes buying drinks, the trip to Toledo has been better than I could have imagined. It's not over either. We pick up pocket 4s under the gun +1. The small blind bought the button. The big blind, Josh from Toledo, raises to 15. Perhaps we can drill another set. I call to test our luck. Small blind calls to defend. We're going 3 ways to the flop in position. It comes queen 8-4 rainbow. We smash bottom set without too much to be concerned about. Small blind checks. The The big blind feels obligated to keep firing as the pre-flop aggressor. He c-bets 30. Making our move early the last time we had a set didn't pan out well for us. I just called this time to set the trap. It's a much better situation for us to slow play since there are only gut shot straight draws present and we're in position so we can ensure that the turn won't check through. The small blind folds, we're heads up. The turn is the jack of clubs. 10-9 gets there to make a straight, but there are only 4 suited combos of that hand that the opponent will raise with from early position. The big blind checks. We could have our opponent drawing dead if he has something like ace-queen. I bet 60. It's not a huge amount. We want to keep the big blind in with a variety of weak combos or maybe even induce a bluff raise. The opponent calls. The plan is to go large on the river if it doesn't change much. The dealer puts out the 6 of hearts. It's close to as blank as it gets since the opponent will almost never have 7-5. We essentially have the nuts given how this has been played. The big blind checks. I don't think that he has a whole lot except maybe some type of bluff catching combo, so I'm going to make it look like we're bluffing with a large bet of 300. It's over a pot-sized wager to put our opponent in the blender. The big blind's hand is pretty capped and mostly one pair and maybe not even top pair. He knows that I know that he's dipped into a passive check call line and won't often have any monsters. Earlier when I bet pot with almost nothing on one board in the double board PLO, I demonstrated that I'm capable of applying pressure when I sense weakness. All that's being factored into the big blind's decision as to whether or not he should look us up light. He's being put to the test. Playing against me isn't as easy in real life as it might seem when people are watching from home. Josh, you can do this. Just make the call, dude. It's funny, part of me is rooting for a call because I like winning big pots and I cannot lie, but part of me wouldn't mind Josh making the correct laydown so that he can save money to purchase more Washington apple shots for everyone. He's a good guy. Eventually Josh makes the fold. YouTube has been suppressing the channel lately. I return our cards face down to make sure Josh watches the vlog in order to find out what we have. Every view counts. But then I also tell him.
You bluffed it up, nice hand, buddy.
I had a set of 4s. We're up over 1,500 when Ben, the drummer from Citizen, and also a band called Title Fight, strolls in and is considering playing poker for his first time ever in a casino setting. He's hesitant, so I give him a nudge by buying him in for 300. If he loses it, I'll take the whole loss. If he wins, I get the 300 back and 50% of the profit with no risk to him. He's sitting next to Nick, who's up over 1,000 and has a big stack in front of him. The session's winding down and we pick up Queen 10 9 deuce in another PLO double board bomb pot. 9 of us see 2 flops. The top one comes out ace queen 4 with 2 hearts. We've got middle pair and a flush draw. The second flop is king 7 4 with 2 hearts. We've got a flush draw there as well. It's nice that the ace and king of hearts are accounted for, so our queen high draw would be the nut flush if it hits. Under the gun +1 bets 50. Under the gun +2 calls. The middle position player calls as well. I called hopefully see some additional red cards come out. The big blind also calls. 5 of us are advancing to the next round. The top turn is the deuce of hearts. We drilled the flush, but it's actually not the nuts, as dozens of you in the comment section would have pointed out if I said it was. That's because 5-3 makes a straight flush. In PLO, with 8 opponents being dealt in, who all have 4 cards each, it's a lot more likely that someone has us beat, but we're still probably best. The bottom turn is the king of clubs pairing the board and significantly downgrading us there since we could already be drawing dead. I don't want this to check through. I lead for 125 to ensure that some money gets pumped in. It's a small sizing because I want to keep as many players in as possible while I anticipate only winning one board rather than bet pot, get called by only one player, then just get our pot size bet returned to us at the conclusion of the hand. This sizing optimizes profit if multiple opponents call and we win half the pot. The big blind can't fold for the small size. She calls. Under the gun +1 folds. Under the gun +2 isn't going to keep the price low. He jams for 575 total. There's a possibility that I'm drawing stone dead on both boards if the opponent happens to have king 7 5-3 with the straight flush. More than likely, we've got the winner on the top board and the opponent could be drawing dead there, so I call. The big blind isn't sure whether or not she's in good enough shape to overcall the shove. Ultimately, she folds. We're heads up in an all-in situation, not entirely certain if we have the opportunity to scoop, or maybe we're going to get scooped. I'll take a blank on the top board and a heart on the bottom board just in case though. The top river is the 6 of diamonds. It doesn't affect our hand strength at all. The bottom river is the 9 of spades. We at least pick up a pair and have some showdown value. The opponent turns over ace king 9-7 with 0 hearts in his hand. He has top pair on the first board and a full house on the second board. If he just flatted our bet on the turn, we could have kept in a third player and potentially split up more money. Instead, under the gun +2, went for sort of a semi-bluff jam that results in both of us winning less than we would have if there was a bet on the river and the third player called to make it to showdown. It's an interesting situation that only comes up in split pot games. It's getting late, and I only have a few more hours in the city before I'm off to the next location to play, so I rack up for the night to hang out elsewhere with a group of people from today's session. We ran great and went over 1,800, which is a lot for a 2-5 game. It's always nice to book a win, but today is even sweeter because our entire crew is walking out of the casino with more money than we walked in with, including our horse.
Ben, how did we do?
I'm up 70, first time ever playing. So.
Nice. Let's go. Easy game. Easiest game of all time.
I had no idea what
Anyone
I was
can do it.
Yeah, exactly. You just.
All right, Nick, why are you laughing?
He ran a fucking suicide bluff, but it got through, so.
Is it suicide if you win?
Yes. Nice job.
Thanks, man.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.
We head to a local bar to keep the good times rolling with a handful of people we were battling on the felt with earlier. Josh continues showing us a good time by buying drinks with the $300 he saved by not calling our river bet, and we had a set of 4s. This is one of the most fun days I've had in a long time. The band and everyone else in Toledo does an amazing job to make sure that I have a blast. I had 0 expectations coming into today, but I couldn't be happier with the outcome. In the morning, I grab a drink at Maddie and Bella Coffee Roasters, which is in the downtown area and is owned by one of Nick's friends. Then I hit the road again after getting an invitation to play a high-stakes game in Detroit. Tune in next vlog to see how it goes. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe buttons. It helps out the channel a ton. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you. Big shout out to Citizen. Here's their album here. Check them out on Apple Music or Spotify or YouTube. That was just so much fun, and I had a great time kind of crashing their rehearsal and being able to jam with them. Before I started playing poker, you know, my dream was to become a musician and also a professional rollerblader, but I don't really get a chance to play guitar too much anymore, so that was just so cool to kind of live out one of my like childhood dreams a little bit there. And I just had a blast in Toledo. So if you guys have any recommendations for cool things I can do like I did in this video that are super unique, whether it's sports related or music related or something completely different, and there's also a poker room where I can film and play 2-5, give me some suggestions down below. I'd really appreciate it, and I'd love to like travel to your guys' local card club or poker room. Let's see, don't forget to sign up to Gold using code BRAD. That way you can play some of the softest games. I'm on there quite a bit, and right now there's satellites to the WPT World Championship in December, so there's 10K seats that you could win, and all kinds of great, you know, ring games and everything. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you're staying safe. Good luck at the tables, and I'll see you next time.